Welcome to Phoenix International Raceway. We'll get started with our media availability here. We now welcome Matt Kenseth, driver of the number $20 General Toyota, currently second in points, 7 points behind the leader. One win here at Phoenix, 2 to go. Talk a little bit about being here at Phoenix and your thoughts on the championship. 2 more to go. Tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel better if we were leading. Obviously, everybody wants to be the leader, but I feel good about it. I'm looking forward to this weekend. We had a good run here in the spring. It was my first, race with the team, really, besides plate racing, and we had a really competitive car, and we've been good at these kind of tracks, so I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Okay, we'll take questions from Matt. We'll start right up here to our right with Jenna, and then we'll take other questions.
Jennifer, AP. Matt, bear with me a second. If someone had told you when you got in the car in December at Charlotte that you were going to win 7 races this year, would you have believed them?
Well, I don't. That's hard to say right now. I mean, because of the year we had, but I really felt really confident after that test that we were going to have a really good season, or we had at least all the ingredients, to have a really good season. But it'd been hard to believe somebody if they said we would have had 7 wins and done some of the things that we did this year in our first year together, because throughout my whole career I've never been able to do that. So I guess it would have been hard to believe that.
Would you have believed that you would be in this position to race for the championship?
Probably same answer. Okay. I mean, that's what we aim for, and that's what we hope for. But the sport is I think it's unpredictable, and certainly changing teams and doing all that stuff. I mean, I didn't know whether we're going to have this kind of year, or a winless year. I mean, I just didn't really know. There's a lot that was unknown.
So what I'm getting at is, with all the unknowns and what you've been able to accomplish, win or lose at Homestead, where it all shakes out, is the season considered a success? Are you basically playing with house money at this point?
Well, I mean, no matter how it ends up, it's been a great season. Absolutely. Before the chase started, it's been a great season. After we won the first 2 of the chase, I mean, I said that no matter what happened to the last 7, it was still going to be a great year. So, it's funny how your views and your goals and what you want to accomplish change. It's kind of a moving target. Obviously, when you're in this spot, you're like, oh man, well, if you don't end up winning the championship, it's hard not to be just a little disappointed, when you're in that spot, because you just don't get that many opportunities to win it. But for sure, no matter how it ends up the next 2 weeks, it's been an unbelievable year. It's been one of probably the best year of my career, really. I mean, with the things that we've done, on the racetrack from a performance standpoint, the wins we've had, the laps we've led, all the things that we've done. It's been a great year no matter what.
Okay, we'll go Bob, Claire, Gluck, and Dave.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Turn up the volume just a little bit. Go ahead.
Bob Hocker, Sporting
News.
News.
Because I can't read lips. I was glad they turned it on.
Jimmie talked earlier this week about, like, he goes over what all his weaknesses are. He gets worried about the racetrack. He runs laps in his head all week. I'm curious, do you do that kind of stuff, or do you just pretty much more kind of go out and run?
Well, I mean, a little bit of both. I don't sit and worry about the next racetrack coming up, because worrying is just a waste of energy or a waste of time. But certainly I try to be as prepared as I can when we come to the track. Try to look at, what you've done in the past, what you can do better coming back, try to improve on the things you did good, try to improve on the things you did bad, and try to be better at that. Kind of go over a plan for what we're looking for, what we want to accomplish, that type of thing. But I wouldn't say worry's the right word. I haven't worried at all, really. Just trying to be as prepared as we can and as ready as we can when we get here.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Jimmie said this week he's a sports psychologist's nightmare, and he talked about visualizing and how when he lays down at night, he visualizes through the track. I talked to another driver last night who was talking about Alan Kowicki, who actually kind of even timed himself in his visualization. Do you use that? Have you used that? Does it work? Does that help you at all if you do use that?
I guess I don't. I guess I'm not that smart. No, I guess I don't. I mean, I just kind of like the same answer as Bob's there. Just try to be as prepared as I can when I come here. Certainly, I try to pay attention, try to improve on the things we did bad and the things that we did good, and always try to improve as a driver. I mean, I think you try to do that every time you come back, every lap you run on the track, every practice session, every qualifying. I mean, you're always trying to get better, so you always try to focus on the things that you think will make you better.
Do you think it's an advantage to you that you can kind of put things in a box and clear your mind and just take it race by race?
I don't know. I mean, I think my biggest advantage this year has just been that, I have a really strong team. I got really fast race cars. When we show up at the racetrack, we have cars that can compete, for wins more often than not. So, I think no matter what my mental state is, if I have really slow race cars, it's not going to matter what my mental state is. And if I have, cars that are capable of going to win and going out and able to compete every week, it's easier to, I guess, be in a better frame of mind and focus on things. But I guess I'm more of a mechanical guy than a psychological guy. There's some people that are more psychological. Some people are more mechanical. I've always been from the school that if you have the fastest race car, more often than not, you got the chance for the win or the good finish.
Okay, we'll go Gluck, Dave, Lee, and Wolfgang. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Jimmie talked a lot this week at the Hall of Fame about how his daughter and your daughter kind of BFFs, and she went and bought Play-Doh for your daughter and was playing with her on the day of Martinsville. But he also said that his daughter doesn't totally understand what's going on at the championship in some ways. The points are confusing. Yeah. How much does Kaylin, how much is she aware of the championship picture, and does she know that you're battling Evie's dad, and does that whole element?
Well, first of all, everybody I race against is to Kaylin is somebody's dad. It's not. It's always funny to me because it's like, oh, there goes Evie's dad, or there goes, all the, everybody's dads. It's not ever their names. So yeah, I mean, she kind of gets it and kind of doesn't. We talk about it, and they like watching racing and everything. But yeah, I wouldn't say a 4-year-old really has a total grasp on everything that's going on, probably hopefully as much as the rest of us, but yeah, it's fun. 7 or 8 years ago, the motorhome park was always quiet. Everybody went in a bus and locked their doors, and nobody would talk to each other and do anything. And now with all the kids, it's a lot of fun because we actually get to probably be more friends than we've ever been before, in the garage area in the motorhome park, because our kids are playing together, and it kind of brings everybody together. So that part is always fun and relaxing.
Okay, we'll take our next question up front here from Dave.
For as much as you and Jimmie kind of come from different parts of the country and different backgrounds in racing, it seems like you have a lot in common too, as far as family and respect and maybe even style. But can you kind of compare and contrast the two of you, and also what kind of relationship you and Jimmie have?
Well, I mean, I don't know about sitting and comparing us. I mean, I think that we've always had a good relationship, and I think it's probably got better over the years. Some of that is kids. Some of it's just, just talking more or whatever. I mean, I think that we're different, and we have different interests as far as, what we like and what we don't like, maybe, away from the racetrack. But, I think our relationship has always been good. I think it's probably, right now, it's probably better than, it's ever been.
Is that good? Is that helpful?
I mean, I like having friends more than I like having enemies. So yeah, I think it's good. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go Lee, Wolfgang, and Alan.
You set me up perfectly because Keselowski said that you have to race Jimmie hard to get him off his game, having been in that position. And I asked him if you're too nice of a guy to do that, and he said that you have a different style of different type of relationship with Jimmie. Is that going to make it hard to put on the pressure when you need to, or is there just that line that you refuse to cross?
I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, when you drop the green out here on Sunday, there's 42 cars that you want to beat, and there's 42 teams and guys that you're trying to get ahead of, and you're trying to beat to go win the race. And the guy I get along with the best on the racetrack, I want to beat him just as bad as the guy I get along with the least on the racetrack. It really just, for me, it honestly doesn't really it doesn't really matter. You know, once they throw the green, they're all cars that you want to beat and finish in front of, and you realize that to win the race, you got to figure out how to beat them all.
But would you race Jimmie differently than you'd race, say, a Brian Vickers?
No, I mean, I think I race everybody really the same. I mean, it doesn't always work out according to plan, but I mean, I think you always try to race people the way that you'd like to be raced. You try to show them respect, and you know, more times than not, you always get that back. So no, not really. I mean, I you know, when they start to race, I think you're going to race everybody the same, and you're hoping you got a good enough car and everything goes good enough where you can figure out how to win.
Okay, we'll go Wolfgang, Alan, Mark, and Tom.
Wolfgang Munzer, Rennsport Press Agency from Germany. I think obviously between all three manufacturers, Chevy, Ford, and Toyota, all cars are more or less equal. Nevertheless, when you switch from a Ford to a Toyota team, is there a significant difference between the Ford and the Toyota Camry?
You know, there's a lot of things that changed this year for me besides just manufacturers. I mean, organizations, the Gen 6 carts the first year. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have changed, but certainly Toyota and TRD has been a huge part of our success and making our cars run.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Alan.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. In this chase, you've been able to beat Jimmie Johnson at New Hampshire, Martinsville, and Charlotte. What type of confidence does that give you coming into Phoenix, where the numbers might say, again, he has an advantage?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much the past has to do with, you know, today, tomorrow, or Sunday. Honestly, I mean, maybe a little bit to do with it, but I don't know that it has a lot to do with it, because there's just a lot of things that are different. But you know, I feel good about it, but. You know, the Jimmie and the 48 and that team, I mean, they're good enough to win every week at every single kind of racetrack. So, you know, you have to be that good if you're planning on beating them. So, I mean, I think, you know, realistically, you never know what's going to happen in these races, but I really feel like we need to win the next two races to feel really good about winning the championship, because, I mean, they're that good. You know, if you don't win, they might, or they probably will. You just don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, it's fun to be in this spot. It's fun to have enough confidence that I feel like if we do everything right, we can go win these races. So that's kind of what we're aiming for.
Okay, guys, we're just going to try to get as many questions as we can, but you all had a lot of questions. We'll go Mark, Tom, Marty, and Dustin. Go ahead,
Mark. You want me to shorten my answers up? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Am I rambling?
Go ahead, Mark.
Matt, for a period there, it seemed like the 48 couldn't be beat when they had that 5-year championship run. The last 2 years, they proved they're vulnerable. Does that give you any more optimism at all?
Well, I mean, I'm as optimistic as I've ever been, but not necessarily because of anything that they're doing or not doing, just because I feel like my race team and my race cars and everything are capable of winning on any given week if we do everything right. Certainly, I don't view the 48 as weak or vulnerable or any of that. I mean, man, they can win any weekend at any kind of racetrack. So I don't feel like they're off their game. I just feel like at our best that we can run with them. So hopefully we'll be at our best the next 2 weeks.
Okay, we'll go Tom, Marty, Dustin.
Matt, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Have the cars changed so much from the spring race to now that it's impossible to make any predictions based on what happened then? And is it also impossible to make predictions given that you've run well at tracks historically you don't? Jimmie's beaten you at a couple places where maybe historically you've had the advantage.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know if how different it's going to be than it was here in the spring race. I mean, the track, I don't think has changed a lot. The tires changed, you know, a little bit. I would think from February until now that everybody has learned a lot about this car, and they've changed their setups and their theories and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be different, but I don't know that necessarily the teams that ran good here, you know, won't run good here again. I mean, it seems to be the same, you know, basic group of guys, maybe a couple different guys here or there, but it seems like the same group that you got to beat, you know, if you're gonna hope to win.
Okay, we'll take our next question. Marty, go ahead.
Marty was on the phone. You can't use the phone in here and ask a question.
My wife called, man. You got to take.
Did she have a question too?
I mean, you're important, but you're not that important.
Good man.
Marty Smith, ESPN. What is 7 points? I mean, what kind of obstacle is 7 points when you're racing a team like that?
Well, it all depends. man, I don't know. It's 7 spots, so that's a tough question, Marty. What is 7 points? It depends. It depends how good they run and how good you can run. I mean, it's seven positions basically if you don't win, and it's arguably the best team out there the last. I guess it's been about a decade now. So, so in a way it doesn't sound like many, and another way it could be a lot. Just depends.
Okay, we'll take our next question, Dustin.
Dustin Long, Motor Racing Network. Matt, you've talked about having a stronger equipment this year, being faster, allowing you to do more things. So how have you been able to display your driving talent more? I mean, obviously, if you have a slow car, there's only so many things you can do. You can only carry it so far. So having this faster car, how have you gotten better? What's better about you this year than in other years?
Well, I don't really feel like I'm a different driver than I've been in the past, necessarily. Certainly. Say what?
Having a faster car allows you to be a little bit different in that sense. It gives you a little bit more options. So that makes you a different driver.
Well, I'll try to answer it again. Again, I don't really feel like I'm a different driver than I've been in the past. Certainly, the better your cars drive, the better adjustments you make, the better track position you have. There's certain things that maybe fit your style in a car or a situation or an organization or the way you go about things or the way it feels. That'll maybe make you, look like a better driver. It always looks like you're a better driver when your car is fast. So I don't feel like I'm a lot different. Certainly there's different things with this car, organization, things we work on, that's different, than what I'm used to. So you would like to feel like you improve and you get better and smarter through the years, through the weeks, through the months, all that stuff. So you would like to think that, but I don't really feel like I'm a lot different.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Lewis. Go ahead.
Yep. Lewis Frank from Speed Week. You led the points for so long in 2003 till the championship. Is there any way that you could compare these last two, going into these last two races this time as you did 10 years ago?
Nah, it's just totally different. I mean, it's just honestly, it's just night and day different. I mean, it'd really be hard to compare.
Matt, thank you very much for your time this weekend.
Thanks.
Good luck this weekend.